When I was a young lad back in the day, one of my favourite animated shows to watch as a kid was The Simpsons. I have vivid childhood memories of turning on Sky 1, shout out to the homies who'd watch Sky 1, and I binge watched The Simpsons, along with other shows like Futurama and Modern Family, which aren't as good but are still really good in my opinion. But The Simpsons was my absolute favourite. Now that I've gotten older, I don't really enjoy modern Simpsons all that much. I'm not saying they are terrible, not at all. There are some great modern Simpsons episodes, but compared to the earlier seasons, they just aren't as good. But I will always hold both the old and modern Simpsons episodes close to my heart. I even had the Simpsons movie on DVD, which I would watch all the time, but I sadly lost the DVD. I plan to make a retrospective on the whole series, because I have a lot to say about The Simpsons, but today, me and Lorcan The Hedgehog are going to talk about the very first Simpsons episode, The Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, and since it's a Christmas special, it counts as a Christmas review. Now let's look at the special and see if it still holds up to this day. Now, the plot of this episode is actually pretty simple. The special is basically about the Simpsons getting ready for Christmas, but Homer doesn't get his Christmas bonus at work, and they lose the rest of their Christmas savings due to Bart getting a tattoo and they spend all of their money removing it. For the rest of the special, we see Homer trying his absolute hardest to get money and support his family for the holiday season. Now, there are some great aspects here, but there are also some negative aspects. I'll go over the negative aspects first. Now, the first thing you notice is how messy and kind of bad the animation is. The animation was done by Klasky Csupo, the studio that did the Rugrats, and they are mostly known for having a weird animation style. And here, the animation is definitely not the best. As the seasons went on, the animation definitely became more refined and cleaned up, but the earlier seasons definitely had more fluid animation to it when it came to the character movement. But the designs are still very messy and sort of bad. There was clearly a long way to go when it came to animation, although I will admit there is a charm to how messy the animation is. But goddamn man, some of these designs, some of the background characters look honestly so messy and sort of rushed, and kind of hard to look at to be honest. Even the backgrounds are very messy, but like I said, there's a sort of charm to how messy and bad the animation is. Also, the voice acting here is a bit strange to say the least. Don't get me wrong, I love the Simpsons voice actors, and they've been doing a phenomenal job for the past 30 years, but around the beginning, they were definitely trying to figure out how to play these characters. The best way to describe the voice acting here is very rough and needed work, but this was the beginning, so they were still testing the water when it came to these characters. But the voice actors still do a great job, don't get me wrong. But like I said, you can tell that they were still trying to figure out who the characters were and how to play them, because as the series went on, the voice acting became more defined and the voice actors definitely figured out how to play these characters. But I won't diss the voice acting entirely since it is still pretty decent, because like I said, these voice actors are all amazing and were trying their best. Now onto the positives. The story and character development here is amazing. I find the story here to be incredibly wholesome and sort of heartwarming. The general story here is Homer trying his absolute hardest to support his family for the holiday, and that's really it. In modern Simpsons, Homer's character can either be an asshole or a pretty good character, but here he is a genuine fantastic character. We see him try out different jobs like a mall Santa and even gambling to support his family and give them the best Christmas he can give them. It's genuinely so heartwarming seeing how much he cares about his family. He feels like a totally different character here. We even get a very nice introduction to the Simpsons dog, Santa's little helper. Even Bart is surprisingly a really good character. I'll be honest, I don't really like Bart in the modern Simpsons episodes, but here he's genuinely really good. He finds out what Homer is doing, and he actually helps Homer out to get money. Like, it's really good. All the characters here are sort of the same. Marge, Lisa, Bart, Grandpa, and Marge's sisters Patty and Selma. They all feel the same, but they feel nicer and more realistic. Well, except for Patty and Selma, they still hate Homer. But you can tell that they all love and care for each other. I think that's the best way to describe this Simpsons episode. It feels real. The family dynamic, along with this Homer trying to support his family, feels so real and genuine, and it's great to watch. Now, I have rambled on for long enough, so here's Lorcan the Hedgehog to talk about what he thinks of the special, and if he thinks it started off well. Take it away, Lorcan.
Did you know that The Simpsons' first ever episode was going to be some enchantment evening? It was changed, however, because of the animation reportedly being so bad, it needed to be redone, so The Simpsons writers choose the Christmas special to be the first ever episode instead. Since then, it would lead onto a show that is still being on the air after 33 years. So, what was it about this episode that not only kickstarted The Simpsons' ongoing run, but to be seen as a Christmas classic? One way it stood out is the plot. This was when the show was trying to go for a more realistic setting with Springfield and the wacky, comedy-based direction the series would be taken many seasons later, as the Simpsons family here are just as a basic American family that has financial issues when Bart gets a tattoo removed and Homer didn't get a Christmas bonus from Mr. Burns, so has to take a side job as the mall Santa to hopefully get the presents and save the Simpsons Christmas. Shout out to this scene where after hearing that he doesn't have the Christmas money anymore, Homer just walks into the snow and looks at his house, and then looks at the Flanderses and just bows his head down. Season 1 Simpsons may have its rough edges, but moments like this showcase the series' best use of being mature other than being for comedy. Of course, being that this was when the show was still figuring out everything when it comes to the characters and crew, there is some parts that stand out in comparison, such as having Hank Azaria being more of a recurring actor in the series than the main, with him voicing Moe, Wiggum, and Apu, as well as having a different voice for Mr. Burns instead of the typical Harry Shearer performance we know and love, as well having Homer's voice being in that Matthew Millard phase from the Tracy Ullman shorts, still trying to get into the Homer we know, but it still has that early roughness that Simpsons normally has. And yeah, the animation does have its odd moments here and there as the rest of season 1, but there's a certain charm to the animation, just like how Family Guy and South Park's first season's animation stands out compared to what those series would become later down the road. The ending also has a bittersweet Christmas miracle to The Simpsons, where Homer tries to win in the dog racing, but loses. However, he soon gets the dog that he betted on, and soon comes home with the dog named Santa's Little Helper. The Simpsons family love it that much, and it gives them a good Christmas for what they were able to get. And with that, it would begin one of the most successful shows of all time.
Thanks, Lorcan. Now in conclusion, did The Simpsons start off good? Well, honestly, yes. They started off very good. There are some problems here like the messy animation and the weird voice acting, but what makes this a great special and a great beginning for The Simpsons is the heart and charm of the story and characters. They all feel so realistic, and seeing Homer doing whatever he can to give his family the best Christmas ever is so good. I would highly recommend watching this Christmas special if you haven't already. It's on Disney Plus and almost everyone has a Disney Plus account. And it's also on YouTube, so please go check this out if you haven't already. It's genuinely amazing and was a great start to The Simpsons. And it's also a really heartwarming Christmas special. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this video. Special thanks to Lorcan The Hedgehog for having a cameo in this video. Check out his stuff. Hope you all have a swag day and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.